Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. We've been all over the news this past week, so I'm sure you know what we're covering today. But for anyone who's been living under a rock,
Aha.
we are going to deep dive into the Blue Origin New Glenn rocket, specifically its maiden launch, which just happened.
Successfully.
Yes, successfully. Can't forget that.
It was pretty
It
awesome.
was really awesome to see it lift off. So
Definitely.
I know we've got a lot of space fans in our audience. I know you all were watching it live, but
For sure.
um, for those of you who don't know as much about Blue Origin,
Yeah.
can you give us a quick overview of who they are and what they're all about?
Yeah, so Blue Origin is a private space company that was founded by, the Amazon
Oh,
guy,
yeah, Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And they've been working for years on developing a bunch of different space technologies, but their main goal, it seems, is to make space travel more accessible. Like not just for astronauts and governments, but for, everyone. So they've been developing a few different rockets, and New Glenn is like their biggest and most powerful rocket yet.
So why is this launch such a big deal? I mean, we've seen rockets launch before.
hmm
We've even seen reusable rockets with SpaceX.
hmm
What makes this one stand out?
Yeah. Well, for one thing, New Glenn is designed to be reusable, just like the Falcon 9 from SpaceX.
Hmm.
But New Glenn, it's like way bigger. And
Right.
it's designed to carry a lot more, like way more payload and eventually people too. So it's not just about like launching satellites or taking a quick trip to orbit. It's about like going further. You know what I
Not
mean?
like further out.
Yeah, like going to the moon, maybe even Mars someday.
That's amazing.
And being able to reuse the rocket, well, that makes space travel way cheaper, right?
Right.
So that opens up a lot of possibilities.
So how does this reusability thing actually work? I mean, landing a rocket after it's been to space can't be easy.
No, not at all.
That's
So
weird.
it's a wild process. So, most rockets, they're designed to just burn up in the atmosphere after they launch, right?
Right.
But reusable rockets like New Glenn, they come back down to Earth and they land vertically. Just like you've probably seen those SpaceX landings online.
Oh, yeah, those are insane.
Yeah, it's a trip, right? So imagine like a controlled fall from space,
Oh,
using
no.
the engines to slow down and guide the rocket back to a landing pad. The crazy part is managing the heat and the stress of reentry. I mean, you're talking about temperatures hotter than molten lava.
Whoa. So this sounds like a big step forward for space travel. But what does it actually mean for us down here on Earth? Like,
Yeah.
what are the real-world implications?
Well, think about it. More frequent and cheaper access to space, that means we can launch more satellites,
Yeah.
which means better communication, better GPS, even better monitoring of climate change.
Oh, wow.
you know? And that's just the beginning. We could see all sorts of industries benefit from this.
Like what? What else?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about space-based manufacturing.
Yeah, I've heard a little about that.
Yeah, so, making stuff in space, it sounds kind of crazy, but there are some unique advantages to doing that. Like in microgravity, you can create these perfectly formed crystals for electronics or grow human tissues for medical research. And these things are like impossible to do with the same precision on Earth because of gravity.
That's fascinating. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Wow. It seems like the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
But are there any downsides? Expanding our presence in space, doesn't that come with risks?
Yeah, for sure. The more we launch into space, the more we got to worry about space junk.
Space junk.
Yeah, space debris, old satellites, spent rocket
Oh,
parts,
yeah, yeah.
all that stuff. And it can cause some real problems because if it collides with something else, it creates even more debris.
Hmm.
And that can lead to like this chain reaction called the Kessler syndrome.
That sounds scary.
It is. It's like imagine a bunch of tiny bullets whizzing around in space, only they're like pieces of metal going super fast,
Yeah.
and they can destroy satellites and spacecraft.
So what are we doing about that?
Well, there are folks working on ways to track this debris and even remove it from orbit.
Okay, good.
But it's a big challenge, and it's going to require a lot of international cooperation.
Right, for sure. So it seems like Blue Origin's New Glenn launch is a big step forward for space exploration, but there's still a lot to consider, right?
Absolutely. We're moving into this new era of space travel, and it's exciting and a little bit scary all at the same time, but we got to be smart about it. We got to be mindful of the risks as we explore this new frontier.
Absolutely. So for all of you listening out there, I want you to think about this. If space travel becomes as common as air travel in our lifetime, what role would you want to play? Would you be a space tourist,
Hmm.
a scientist, a space entrepreneur? Something to think about.
Yeah, what would you do?
What a great question to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone.
See you next time.
We'll catch you on the next one.